broke down the pros and the cons of the Kellen Moore situation.
Yeah, I think my general point of view on it, Zach, is just like, as a fan, I thought Kellen Moore was a pretty good coordinator for the Cowboys. Like, and the Cowboys have been the one team in the NFC East where they've just kind of returned serve, right? Like, the Eagles have had good moments against the Cowboys, and they've had bad moments. They've gotten killed, often in Dallas a lot of the time. I kind of view him as like a little bit of like the offensive coordinator version of how I view Dan Quinn now. I know Dan Quinn had a rough playoff game, but I don't like it that he's the defensive coordinator for Dallas. He has given the Eagles problems over the years. So I guess that's my main takeaway from it. And, you know, we have seen him. You guys had the stats yesterday, like a couple top 5 DVOA offenses. That's good. Like, he clearly, and even in the bad years, like, there's been issues, right? There's been injuries. You know, Bo's boy, Ben DiNucci, like, I'm not going to kill the offensive coordinator for struggling in that year where Dak gets hurt.
DiNucci's taking it hard here. Yeah.
I know, yeah. Some DiNucci catching strays right now. So I like the hire. I think what interests me the most, though, is like, we know Kellen Moore is going to bring fresh ideas, and Nick talked about, you know, how the offense got stale. I just want to know, like, what the implementation is, because it's something you guys alluded to in yesterday's podcast, where he's not like a guy who loves to run the ball.
Sure.
And the Eagles probably, when Nick talked about, you know, like integrating different ideas, you know, fresh ideas, but also the things that the Eagles do that works, like I think you correctly pointed out, that probably means the running game for the most part, the stuff they're going to keep. And I want to know, like, whose purview is that going to be?
Sure.
You know, who's the one responsible? Is Nick like, to get back to the Tim McManus, you know, what would you say you do here question? Is this hire because it seems so passing oriented and it's not a complete departure like a McVay, Shanahan type style of offense, or a college guy? Is Nick maybe a little more involved than we thought initially here?
Well, he'll be involved, right? I mean, I don't think Nick can be entirely hands off. And the reality is that even if you're bringing in fresh ideas, you're not reinventing football, right? I mean, there's things that haven't been in the Eagles' offense that will be in their offense now, but it's not as if it's the first time Nick Sirianni's ever, you know, seen motion or, you know, seen the middle of the field used, despite what fans might say, right? So, yeah, I certainly think he's going to be involved, and he's going to be in those meetings, and he's going to be there with the game planning. But I don't think you get a coordinator of Kellen Moore's experience and quality without saying you're in charge, right?
Yeah.
Without handing over the reins.
We all silly like the mayor.